you give me reasons why and wherein Caesar was dangerous.
So he says, yes, Doshi said, should we depend on you or should we not consider you as a friend, right? Should we consider you a friend or should we not depend on you? So he says, I therefore shook my hands. No, that's the reason why I shook my hands with you. But that I indeed was diverted. Here swayed means diverted. I got diverted by looking down on Caesar's. By seeing Caesar's body, I got diverted. So he says, I am friends with you all and love you all. But upon this hope, that means with this hope that you will give me reasons why and like in what way Caesar was dangerous. He doesn't understand why did they consider Caesar to be dangerous. He says, give me the reason why you thought Caesar was dangerous. Give me valid reasons for you killing Caesar or assassinating Caesar. Okay. Next dialogue with what? Eight.
Our reasons are so full of good regards that were you, Antony, the son of Caesar, you should be satisfied.
So he says, our reasons are full of regard. That means is of serious consideration. Because we considered it very, very seriously. So our reasons are very, very valid. Okay. That you were Anthony, the son of Caesar, you would be satisfied. So he said, if you, Anthony, was the son of Caesar, then you would have been satisfied. We had valid reasons for killing Caesar, he meant, and then if you were the son of Caesar, you would have understood why we killed Caesar. Okay, son of Caesar is referring to Octavius.
Yeah.
But he was the heir, nah? He was adopted. Okay, next.
That's all I see, and am moreover sooner alive here, produce his body to the marketplace, and will the culprit as becomes a friend, speak in the order of his name.
So he's asking permission. Now Brutus has taken the leadership role. Understood? So he says, that's all I ask. That's all I seek. That's all I ask. And moreover, as a suitor. Suitor is one who makes a proposal, right? Not a marriage proposal, but somebody who's like making a petition. Okay. So he says, as well, I have a request that I produce. Produce means bring his body to the pulpit and to the marketplace. The pulpit is in the marketplace. Remember, I showed you that in the video. So in the marketplace and in the pulpit, as becomes a friend, and like you like is appropriate for a friend. He says, speak in the order of his funeral. Speak in his funeral ceremony. Okay, as a friend, I want to speak in his funeral ceremony, and he's very, very careful about this because he takes permission from the conspirators, and that's why he says, Brutus says, this is I have given you permission to I have given him permission to speak. Yes. So he says, you give me permission to speak at the funeral. Okay.
Brutus.
You shall not.
So he says, you are permitted. You are given, you shall not, you have my permission to speak Mark Antony.
Brutus, a word which you assign to Brutus. You know what you do. Do not consent that Antony speak to his funeral. Know you how much people may be moved by that which he will utter?
So Cassius is very, very, he's a great observer of men. Okay, he has this very observant nature. And he knows, it is dangerous for Antony to speak in Caesar's funeral because he may influence the other person, like other people, and it will instigate against them, right? He'll instigate the Roman people against. So, but as I said, Brutus is very idealistic. He says, no, he will not do anything like that. He cannot foresee what Antony can do. Okay. So here he says, Brutus, a word with you. Means I want to have a word with you. I want to speak with you. And he takes him aside. He takes him aside from there. He says, you know not what you do. You do not know what you're doing. Do not consent. So don't give your permission. That Antony speak in his funerals. Don't give Antony permission to speak in his funeral. Know you how much the people may move by what he will utter. So he said, you do not know how much people will be influenced by what he speaks. Okay. And Cassius can see the danger. Brutus ignores the danger.
Yes.
Okay. Tiger man.
Again,
I will myself into the pulpit first and show the reason of our season's death. What Anthony shall speak as a protest, speaks by leave and permission.
Only till there?
yes.
Okay. So, just forgive me for contradicting you. By your pardon means forgive me for contradicting you. I myself will go to the pulpit first. Okay, I will go to the pulpit first and show the reason of our Caesar's death. Then I will give them reasons for why Caesar was killed. Not Anthony shall speak, I will protest. I will protest means I will declare. I will declare to the crowd that he speaks with my permission. Alright? And that's it, na?
Yeah.
No, because there's a little more from the
I Cassius says, I know not what may fall. I like it not.
So he says, I don't know what may happen. What may fall is basically what will happen. I like it not. He says, I don't like it. Because here, see, Cassius has been very, very cautious also. He is the one who takes advantage of Brutus, his dilemma, whether I should support them or not support them. He's torn. He's has restless. He has sleepless night. So Cassius takes advantage. But Cassius can also foresee what is going to happen. So here he already says, before this particular scene and before this, he says, why not when we are killing Caesar, why not kill Anthony? So he says, what Brutus says is, we are sacrificers, we are not butchers.
He killed Caesar because they love Rome more.
Yes.
They have a reason to kill Antony.
Correct. So that's what he said. We are sacrificers. We sacrifice for the betterment of Rome. We are not butchers who killed unnecessary other people. So that time also he told him Anthony can be dangerous, but Brutus doesn't listen. This time also he tells him Anthony is dangerous. He doesn't listen. Later on, Anthony does insult Brutus, and then Cassius turns around and tells him Cassius is Brutus's brother-in-law. Okay.
Oh,
Brutus is Cassius married Brutus's sister. Okay. So they are good friends and they are related also. So Cassius tells him, you are to be blamed when he insults. Otherwise, if you had listened to me, he would have not been able to speak these words. What he's speaking today. So he's saying So that's what Cassius is saying. I don't know what is going to happen. All right. Next.
Mark Antony, you are taking Caesar's body. You shall not in your funeral speech blame us, but speak all good you can deserve of Caesar.
Device.
Device of Caesar. And say you do it by our permission, else shall you not have any hand at all about his funeral, and you shall speak in the same
Culprit.
whereto I am going after my speech is ended.
So he says, Mark Anthony, take Caesar's body, and you should not, in your funeral speech, blame us. Alright, that was his condition. You cannot blame us for Caesar's death. But you have to speak all good you can think about Caesar. Device of Caesar means what you can think about Caesar. And you say, and when you speak, you say that you have our permission to speak. Okay? Or else you will not have anything else to do with the funeral. With his funeral, you will be thrown out of his funeral. You will not get anything else to do with his funeral ceremony. And you shall speak in the same pulpit to which I am going. So he says, where I am going, you will speak in the same pulpit. And after my speech is ended. So I will give the speech first, then your speech will come. So these are the conditions he placed for Anthony to speak in the funeral. Okay. He says you cannot blame us and you have to speak all good what you can think about Caesar.
Be it so, I will desire no more.
So he says, all right, be it so means I let it all right, and I don't want anything more.
Prepare the body then and follow us.
Yes, so prepare the body. He says wrap the body, prepare the body because there are so many wounds on his body. So, wrap his body and this one. They wrapped his body in the shroud, the cloth which his body was in.
Oh, pardon me, how dealing piece of earth that I am meek and gentle with thee How are the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times? Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood over thy wound now required
Prophecy.
prophecy, which like dumb mouths do reveal their ruby lips to beg
Ruby.
ruby lips to beg the voice utterance of my tongue, a curse shall light upon the wings of men, domestic fury and
Fury.
fury and fears, civil
Strife.
strife, shall cumber all the paths of victory. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar, that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants slaughtered with the hands of war, all pity choked with custom of fell deeds, and Caesar's spirit ranging for revenge, with aid by his side, come hot from hell, shall in these confines with the monarch's voice, cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, that this foul deed shall smell above the earth, with carrion men roaming for abuse.
Very well. So you are only learning one part of it. Oh, pardon me, thou bleeding piece of earth. So he is calling Caesar's body as a bleeding because his body wounds were there, 33 wounds were there, and it was bleeding. So he says, I am meek. Meek is humble. I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Butchers is talking about the murderers. I'm meek and humble with these murderers. Because why he needs the time to take revenge, right? He cannot offend them. So he says, I'm meek and mild with these murderers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man. The body is looking. I said, you are the remains of the noblest man. Because spirit has departed, right? Only the body is remaining. So you are the remains of the noblest man that ever lived in this changing current of history. Tides of time is changing currents of history. Woe to the man. Woe is basically curse the hand which shed this costly blood. So curse the hand which like spilled this costly blood. Over thy wounds now I prophesy. Prophecy is I foretell. Remember, any great leader, when it is killed, there is chaos, there is destruction, there is panic everywhere and all that. So he says, I'm prophesying that, I'm foretelling that what is going to happen. Which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips to beg the voice and utterance of my tongue. So like the wounds are like here is using simile like they open their ruby lips. Remember when there is a wound, when there is a cut, then the skin parts like mouth, right? So he says like the wounds which is there on your body are opening their ruby lips and begging me to raise my voice and speak for them. Clear? The wounds are begging me to speak for them. Then she says, a curse shall light means shall fall. A curse will fall upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury, internal conflict. Domestic fury, remember there's a lot of internal conflict when this are there. And fierce civil strife. Strife is war. Fierce civil war shall cumber. Cumber is overwhelm. All the parts of Italy. So all the parts of Italy, there will be domestic war, internal conflict. There will be civil war. There will be a lot of chaos. There are going to be a lot of panic. So this is what he's foretelling. And he says, blood and destruction will become so common that we shall be in use. Will become so common and dreadful objects so familiar and terror-striking objects will become so familiar that mothers will only smile when they see their infant cut to pieces. That is what war is, by the way. They don't think when you talk about what about when you talk about just now Russia and that was still going on. It is still going on. The civilians are suffering, isn't it? Because they haven't moved away from that place. What they have with the hard-earned money, what they had created a home. You know how difficult it is to live. It has been destroyed just because of war, and we are heading for World War III. Because if this is not sorted out quickly, so even this one, where else is the war going on? Iran and somewhere that side. So means
Israel.
Israel. There's going to be so much of chaos, and like this one, ultimately we are taking sides. Have you understood?
So I don't think India has taken a side.
No, up till now it has not taken a side, but it is siding with Russia, na? It is not stepping against Russia.
Because Russia provides us.
As a petroleum with all that, so it cannot.
It helps in making the supersonic missiles.
Yes, missiles also it helps us in. So it is not going against.
But India hasn't taken a stand in the.
But it is not even supporting, like, like telling them to be at peace, no.
We can have a war with China
Yeah, we can have a
by
war.
2027 or 28.
Yes, there is. We are heading towards that.
Because in the east side of India, every day
One or two, yeah. So it is like this. So he says that this, what he's predicting is very true, because when a leader dies and this one, the whole country is thrown in chaos and destruction. That's what, when even women will, when their infants are cut to pieces, they will not react. They will only smile.
All pretty choke.
All pity choke with customs or felony. So the means the familiarity of his cruelty will smother all pity, will choke all pity. Okay. And Caesar's spirit ranging for revenge. That means searching for revenge. With 8, 8 is a goddess of revenge. Okay. Here 8 means goddess of revenge. And here she says will ride by his side. 8 will be the goddess of revenge, will be at Caesar's side from hell, and she shall be the confines from the monarch's voice, and she will scream destruction in these regions, and let slip the dogs of war means chaos and destruction. Okay, let loose chaos and destruction. That this foul deed shall smell upon the earth. That means this violent murder shall smell the earth, and the earth will smell with decaying dead bodies. Okay. Because when you talk about monarch's voice, you talk about king's. Monarch is a king, right? So the king gives the order. If you remember that, Akraman, that is the king's voice. Right? I'm talking because we are living in India, so that's why I said that. Okay, but a monarch's voice. So he says he will scream in a monarch's voice. He will cry for havoc, and that will be a signal for mass slaughter and plunder. Because when there's a war, you have mass slaughter and plundering is done. Because people wear weapons, they wear jewelry, they wear helmets, all those armors, they all plunder that. Okay, so that. Then
Then the forum, Act 3, Scene 2.
okay. From where? You read, because I need to know from where.
Enter Brutus and Cassius and a throng of citizens. Citizens, we will be satisfied, let us be satisfied.
Yes, we want a satisfactory explanation. So give us a satisfactory explanation. Explain to us, why did you kill Caesar? Okay, that. After that?
Brutus, then follow me and give me audience.
Let this read.
Read.
Then follow me and give your audience friends.
Only that much line is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
First citizen.
So then you follow me and listen to me. Give me audience is basically listen to me, friends.
Then first
First
citizen.
Goes to the
I goes to the pulpit and then what?
Second citizen, the noble Brutus ascended, silence. Then
then
Brutus starts with his speech.
So he will
Yeah,
I told you.
it will not fall down. It has a strong base right now.
No, it's okay, 10%.
No, you sit down by me and pay attention.
Brutus.
Yeah, Brutus, go with it.
Now this is a very, very important speech of Brutus.
We heard this yesterday, so
Yes.
you can explain it.
Be patient till the last. Romans, countrymen and lovers, Hear me for my cause, and be silent, that you may hear. Believe me for my honor, and have respect to mine honor, that you may believe sincerely in your wisdom, and awake your senses, that you may the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, and dear friends of Caesar, feel to him, I say the greatest love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that the friend demand why Brutus rose against the Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living and die all the slaves, than the Caesar were dead to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at him. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is a tears of his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his failure, and death for his ambition, who is here so base that would be a born man. If any speak for him, have I offended? Who is here so rude that will not be a Roman? If any speak for him, have I offended? Who is here so wide that you will not love his country? If any speak for him, have I offended? Have I pause for a reply?
Okay. So here, when you talk about this, Brutus speaks. The speech is in prose. Okay, it is in prose. It is very orderly. It is very logical. It is a logical development. It's very rational. Okay, when he speaks it this way. So, and it says Romans, countrymen, and lovers. Lovers are dear friends. Okay, hear me for my cause. Hear me for my cause is basically the sake of the cause for what I stand for. Okay. Be silent that you may hear. So you have to be very quiet, listen to what I am saying. Believe me for mine honor. So believe me for my honor and have respect for my honor that you may believe me. Okay. Censure. Censure means judge. Judge me in your wisdom and awake your senses and let your powers of judgment awaken that you may believe me. Be the better judge and you may believe me. If there's anyone in this assembly is crowd, if there's anyone in this crowd who is a dear friend of Caesar, to him I say that Brutus's love for Caesar was no less than him. So anybody who's standing in the crowd, I will tell him that who loves Caesar that his love for Caesar is no less than mine. I also love Caesar. There is no doubt that I did love Caesar. If then the friend demand the why Brutus rose against Caesar, so if that friend demands why did you kill Caesar then? This is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but I loved Rome more. So my reason for killing Caesar was not that I didn't love him, but I loved Rome more than Caesar. Okay? Had you rather Caesar was living and died all slaves? So if Caesar was living, we would have died as slaves. So would you like that Caesar should be living and we die all slaves? Than Caesar were dead to live all free men. So Caesar being died, would you that you decide Caesar is dead? So we are all free men. Correct? If Caesar was living, we would have been slaves. Now Caesar is dead, so we are all free men. As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. So he says, as Caesar loved me, I do weep for him. I cry for him. As he was fortunate, fortunate is basically successful in war. Okay. As he was successful in war, I rejoiced at it. So it means I rejoiced at his victory. You know, whenever he won so many victories, I rejoiced. I was happy in his victory. As he was valiant, valiant is brave. As he was valiant, I honor him. So because he was brave, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. So because he's ambitious, I killed him. Okay. There is tears for his love. Okay, there are tears for his love. Joy for his success, fortunate success. Honor for his valor, valor's bravery. And death for his ambition. For ambition is greed for power. So death for his ambition, that means greed for power. Who is here so base that would be a bondman? So it is who is here in this crowd who is so low to be a slave? Bondman is a slave. If any speak, for him I have offended. So if there's anybody who's very low, who wants to be a slave, speak up, because did I offend you? Okay, you know what is offend, right? Wrong. Did I wrong you? Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? So who is here so rude that refuses to behave like a Roman? So if any of standing there, then speak up. Or have I wronged you? Who is here so vile? Vile is corrupt. That will not love his country, who does not love his country. So if any speak, did I offend you? He says, I pause for reply. I stop. I wait for your reply.
None protest.
So all say nobody. Nobody wants to be a bondman. Nobody wants to be not called a Roman. Nobody wants to be like, nobody is going to agree that I don't love my country. So these are very logical things. No, nobody, even we at that particular place will say, oh, no, we don't want to be anybody's slaves. We don't want to be not patriotic. We are patriotic to our country. We don't want to be like,
Stand up.
not behave like an Indian, proper Indian. Nobody will agree to that.
Protest.
All that protest. Then have I opened it. I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do. To Brutus. The question of his death is enrolled in the Capitoline glory not. Next year,
Extenuated.
extenuated when he was worthy for his offences and most for which he suffered death, entered Antony and the others the Caesar's body. Here comes his body, and mourned by Mark Antony, who thought he had no hand in his death, shall receive the benefit of his dying a place in the commonwealth, as which of you shall not. With this I depart, that as I slew my best lover for the good of Rome, I have the same dagger for myself, when it shall please my country to need my life.
Though you change to thought, were lovely words, and rushed. So he says, then none I have offended. That means I have not done anything, I have not wronged anybody. I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus. So I have done only to Caesar what you would do to me. Okay?
That was not
Yes, if I was ambitious. The question of his death is enrolled in the capital. Enrolled in the capital, the question of it, the reasons of his death has been recorded upon a roll of parchment in the capital. The capital was where the parliament was, the senate was. His glory not extenuated. Not extenuated means belittled. That means his glory has not been made less. Wherein he was worthy, nor his offences imposed for which he suffered. He says, uh, neither his honor has been belittled, and neither any of his faults have been emphasized on or exaggerated. Understood what?
Yes, everyone said that no one was offended.
Everyone said that. Correct. He says that I have not wronged anybody,
Yeah,
and
when the entire crowd agreed that we are Romans and we love our country. After that, he said, yeah, then I have not offended any one of you. I have done only what you would do to me. I was so ambitious as the Caesar was. And the reason
for
and the reason for his death has been recorded in the Capitol, which is where the Senate is located.
and his recorded. What have they recorded?
The reasons for his death. The reasons for of his death is recorded in the Capitol.
Yes, in which they have his noble deeds which he did have not been belittled, and his faults for which he died has not been emphasized or exaggerated. Half and half we read. Here comes his body mourned. What does mourned means? We are sitting in the lounge.
Being silent or keeping.
Oh, crying, weeping. Yes, mourned is weeping
But
or grieving.
Mood means when someone dies. That
Doesn't mourning mean being quiet?
Excuse me, when someone dies, you're grieving, no?
I know mood.
The mourning is grieving, no? Grieving is what? When you're crying and you're expressing sadness, na?
We had a chapter in which shading
Yeah, I thought that also.
mourning stress.
Weird department.
Dear.
Shady plot.
Mourning is what? I told you, na, crying, weeping, or grieving. That is mourning. Mourned by Mark Anthony, who though he had no hand, though you know, na, he's saying he didn't have any hand in assassinating Caesar, but he will receive the benefit of his right. That means benefit a place in the Commonwealth. That means he will be able to live freely in the Republic. That was his aim. When he killed Caesar, that was his aim, that Rome will be a republic. Irony was that Octavius Caesar became the first monarch of Rome. That is the irony. They wanted to make it republic, right? It should remain republic. But when Octavius received, yes, it became the first. He became the first monarch of Rome. Octavius. All right. As which of you shall not, means every one of you will live in the free republic. With this I depart. With this I depart means I am leaving from here. That as I slew my best lover for the good of my Rome. Best lover is best friend. As I killed for the, my friend, best friend for the good of Rome, I shall have the same dagger. He says, I will carry the same dagger for myself whenever it pleases my country to need my death. So whenever my country needs my sacrifice, I am ready to sacrifice. I will kill myself with the same dagger which killed Caesar. Let Brutus live. Everybody says, no, Brutus don't die. You live. Then?
First citizen, bring him with a triumph
Unto his house. Second citizen, give him a statue with his ancestors. Third citizen, let him be Caesar. Fourth citizen, Caesar. The Caesar's better parts shall be crowned in Brutus. First citizen, will bring him to his house with shouts and clamors.
My countrymen.
Okay. So then he said, Brutus live. Second says, bring him in a triumph. Triumph, I says, remember, victorious ceremony, right? So to his house, let's make him a statue. Like Romans had a lot of statues. So let's make him a statue for his ancestor. So let him be Caesar. Let him get Caesar's position. He says, let him have be Caesar's better qualities. Caesar's better qualities, crown Brutus as Caesar with his good qualities without the bad ones, without Caesar's bad ones. Okay. So he says, we'll bring him to the house with shout and clamor, means noisy celebration.
Grand celebration.
Yeah, grand celebration also.
He said, my countrymen. Second citizen, peace, silence, Brutus speaks. First citizen, peace, ho.
Peace means be quiet.
Brutus.
Good countrymen, let me depart alone, and for my sake stay here with Antony to grace to see the cause.
You calm down.
God and grace his speech, tending to Caesar's glories, which Mark Antony, by our permission, is allowed to make. I do entreat you, not a man depart, same I alone till Antony have spoke, exit.
So he says, good countrymen, let me depart alone. So everybody is excited, he's incited the crowd, he's instigated. He's given his reasons to the crowd that this is what I have killed, and they are all supporting Brutus. Right now, the crowd are supporting Brutus. And see the difference afterwards. For my sake, stay here with Antony. So, for my sake, you need to stay here with Antony. Do grace to Caesar's corpse. Give honor. Give honor to Caesar's body. Corpse is Caesar's body. Corpse is the body. P.S. it is corpse. C-O-R-P-S-E is the body, dead body.
Corpse.
Corpse.
I love his
Corpse, not corpse. Corpse. R sound is there. Caesar's dead body. He died in dream. He was at full speed. And grace his speech. That means
Okay, yeah.
and give respect to his speech, referring to Caesar's glory. Tending to Caesar's glory means he's talking about Caesar's glory. So you have to respect his speech. Which Mark Antony, by our permission, he's telling the crowd that Mark Antony has our permission and is allowed to make. He's allowed to make this speech with our permission. I entreat you, not a man depart. That means nobody shall be here. I request you, nobody should leave from here except myself till Anthony has spoken.
First citizen. Stay, ho, let us hear Mark Antony. Third citizen. Let him go up into the public chair, we'll hear him. Noble Antony, go on. Antony. Who's Antony? Read Antony.
For Brutus's sake, I am beholden to you.
Beholding means I'm indebted to you.
Goes into the pulpit. Fourth citizen. What does he say of Brutus? Third citizen. He says for Brutus's sake he finds himself beholding to us all. Fourth citizen. Twere best he speak no harm of Brutus here. First citizen. The Caesar was a tyrant. Third citizen. Nah, that's certain. We are blessed that Rome is rid of him. Second citizen. Peace, let us hear what Antony say. Antony.
You gentle Romans.
Citizen. Peace, so let us hear.
Okay, so what does he, like he's saying, one minute he's saying, what does he say about Brutus? Then the third says, he says that he is grateful to us all on behalf of Brutus. So, like, the way Anthony behaves, he behaves very, very humble because he needs the attention of the crowd. Because if he has the attention only, then he can change the mind of the crowd, right? Because they are all in support of Brutus. They are not blaming any of the conspirators for killing Caesar. Alright? So he says, it were best he speak no harm of Brutus. So it is good, it will be better for him that he doesn't speak anything wrong about Brutus here, because they would have killed him. If he spoke anything wrong about Brutus, they would have killed him. So he says, this Caesar was a tyrant. Either this Caesar that she killed was a tyrant, was a dictator. So definitely this one. Nay, that's certain. No, that's certain. We are blessed that Rome is rid of him. That means Rome is freed of him. So they are all supporting Brutus. That good that Brutus killed Caesar, because otherwise Rome would have been under a tyrant. Okay. And then noble. And then it says, you gentle Romans. Read.
Sit. I swear to
Friends,
God.
Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is of interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was grievous fault. And grievously had Caesar
I
answered.
think that would bang your head.
Here under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral, he was my friend, faithful as and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He had brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general purpose fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar had felt. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal. I thrice I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious. I'm sure he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I have to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, how art fled this brutish beast, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till they come back to me.
It's kind of crime.
He plays
Play
with,
with his words.
yes, he's used the word, this one he's used, as a Brutus used prose, Anthony uses verse, and he appeals to the civic pride and the sense of logic of the people, okay? Like you will find various emotions in the speech. You'll find pity, you'll find regret, you'll find love, you'll find grief, you'll find terror, you'll find horror, you'll find hatred. All these emotions are in his speech. So when he says, friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ears, means listen to me. I have come to bury Caesar, not praise him. He's very clear in the beginning that I have not come, but he indirectly praises Caesar. Okay. Then he says the evil that men do lives after them. That means are talked about even after their death. Okay. The good is often interred with their bones. That means it is often buried with their bones. The good what they have done is often buried. People forget that what good that person has done. So that's why he says the good that they have done is often buried with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. So the same thing, let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told Caesar was ambitious. So he says the noble Brutus is like, he's using sarcasm here. He says the noble Brutus says Caesar was ambitious. If it was so, it was a grievous fault. Grievous fault means it was a terrible fault. And grievously had Caesar answered for it. That means, and grievously Caesar has paid for it with his life. Swarit, pay attention to that dialogue, is important. Yes, he paid for his fault. Here under leave of Caesar and the rest. Under leave means permission. And with the permission of Brutus and the rest, we are talking about the conspirators. For Brutus is an honorable man, and so are they all honorable men. So he's turned and twisted the meaning of honorable.
But all sarcastic. Ways.
Yes.
And on all honorable lines to all the
conspirators. Come, I speak to speak in Caesar's funeral. So I have come with their permission. I have come to speak in Caesar's funeral. Now he's praising Caesar. He says he was my friend, faithful and just to me. Just is fair. He was faithful and fair to me. But Brutus says he's ambitious. Now he's used conjunctions to emphasize, like, that person is wrong when he says that. He says, but Brutus says he's ambitious. He's pointing only to Brutus. And Brutus is an honorable man. Then he says, he had brought many captives home to Rome. Captives, prisoners of war. So we are talking about who? Caesar. Caesar brought many prisoners of war to Rome, whose ransom did general coffers fill. That means the treasury. It went to the public treasury for the government use.
What is coffers?
Coffers is the treasury
of the entire city.
Yes. So he says the money paid to have them freed filled the public treasury, right? Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? So does it seem like Caesar was ambitious when he brought the captives over and that captives' money only filled the general treasury, right? For general use of the public. So does this look as an ambitious man's work? And then he says, see, when the poor had cried, Caesar had wept. What are we looking at?
People said he was in the street and when I like.
She's very good. So he says, when Caesar, when the poor cried, Caesar also cried with them. Baptist cried. So he says, Caesar also cried with them. Ambition should have been made of sterner stuff. That means sterner is stronger. So ambition should have been made of stronger stuff.
What is this mean?
It's basically when the poor cried, Caesar also cried. So if he was ambitious, he wouldn't have cried, right? Okay. So that's why ambitious should have been made of sterner stuff. Okay. Yet Brutus says he's ambitious. Again, he uses the conjunction. Yes. And Brutus is an honorable man. So he uses these two lines again and again to emphasize that whatever Brutus has done is not honorable. To emphasize that. You all did see that on the Lupercal, I thrice presented him a kingly crown. So 3 times I had given him the crown, which he did thrice refuse. So 3 times he refused the crown. Was that ambition? He says, did it seem like ambition? If you give somebody a crown, they will accept it, right? But 3 times he refused it. So does this seem like a person who's ambitious? Yet Brutus says he's ambitious and sure he is an honorable man. He uses conjunctions, he's using emphasis to show that he wasn't in any way honorable. I speak not to disapprove what Brutus spoke. So I do not. Yeah. Oh, she's a younger sister. Hi, Ali. Hi, Ali, Dada.
What happened to you? What went wrong with you?
बॉम्बे क्यों आई है
लेने के लिए
मेरे को
नहीं आई दादा मतलब दादा दादी आए हैं
नहीं, I, Ali, Dada. I is there. Mother's there.
mother father so dad लग रहा है देखो he's so scared
Yes.
You are.
क्या हुआ
he backed
कुछ किया फिर
Yes. Definitely must have done something.
no I not
No. So,
I was absent
that's why she must have come. Alright. Let me complete this dialogue. It doesn't get completed otherwise. He says, I am not speaking in order to disapprove what Brutus says, but I am here to speak what I know. What I know about Caesar, and I am here to speak for him. He says, you all did love him. When he's talking, he's calling them out. You once upon a time, you all loved him. Because when Caesar entered, everybody was gathered there to celebrate his victory. So you all did love him. So not without a cause, not without a reason. Then what reasons, prevents you from mourning for him? So what is preventing you to mourn from him? What does mourn means?
greeting
Greeting.
crying
Grinding. I'll put you in the mixie and grind you.
weeping
Weeping for him. Alright? And he says,
grinding
oh yeah, grinding. I will grind you in. Oh judgment, thou art fled to brutish beast. Now he's used fun. Brutish beast. Brutus's name, he made it brutish beast. So he says, oh judgment, you have escaped to wild animals. Okay? And men have lost their reason. That means their power of reasoning. The men have lost their power of reasoning. Bear with me, tolerate with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar. Your heart is there with your mother. And I must pause till it comes back to me. Yes.
he's just burying you but his
Heart
heart
is
is
there.
outside figuring out what's going on
And what have I done?
I love this real life example
Alright, continue.
6 pages left we'll do it in
I'm only for words
we need the signature dialogue
Take care of
I am going to be second.
Are shut up Colin
how many pages left?
6
You're also that means you'll have the whole scene on it.
Methinks there is much reason in his sayings.
That means a lot of sense in his what he's saying.
Let him have
Your mother is there only, Swarit. I can start with the complaining factor. Shall I start? No.
read second sentence.
If we stop, stop it.
that's why I packed my bag
Yeah, no, your heart is there.
Go.
And your heart is in your
You
mouth.
can
also.
stop wearing go.
He's going to run away with the mom before she goes to
Yeah, he's going to run away before he can mess with anyone.
Seriously, na?
You are so slow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.